So 54 Wellington Street is a project on Wurundjeri country in Collingwood. It's a project that's indoor, about 24,000 square metres GFA. Keep in mind that the 6-star Green Star and World Cup and Ratings project was designed in 2015, finished during the pandemic, and then released only just recently. So the project was a benchmark at the time, but it exceeded all the potential rating tools that were out there, and it incorporates 136 cars at a car stacker and 160 parks in it. It's a building which is actually 2 buildings. There's a smaller building which sits in the street, which we call a companion building, which is a scaling device, and then there's also the primary tower, which is it's GFA. It's an offset side core. The project went through 3 builders over time. Some of you will know. Again, it's an exercise in perseverance. We as the architects there all the way through. We also had a major tenant exit from the project as well. But it was picked up by Impact Investment Group, and I'll talk a little bit more about their influence in the project later on. To us, it's set within a very interesting precinct, both where the light industry of the city rubs up against the fabric and CBD, but it's an area which is set aside by the City of Yarra as a commercial zone only. It's an area that reminds us very much of Spitalfields in London and also Dumbo in America. This is the project. It very much set the scene for future development. The JCB building behind it is a very good companion. It reminds us of the kind of power of placemaking that can occur in this kind of tough commercial environments. The site was the location of the first automated Telstra exchange in Melbourne, so from the 1930s. Telstra exchanges were anticipated to grow. Obviously, technology has shrunk, and so there was a deal done through Grocon, a variety of sites throughout the CBD, most of which are being developed now, to take air rights of the Telstra exchange and then develop that into commercial or multi-use space. Here you see our approach to building as a series of building campus within the precinct. What our observation was that at the time developers were aggregating sites and were losing the fine grain of what was really quite important to the area that we're in, Wurundjeri Street, the laneways. This was also a big reach for the City of Yarra. It was the first building that really challenged height, so it's a 12-storey building in a 4-storey setting. We pushed the tower back. It's not really a tower. It's a 9-storey building over a Telstra exchange. It's a tower in disguise, and pushed that back 20 metres from the street, which is enormously generous, and created the scale device companion building, which allows for a laneway, a kind of unconventional address to the main commercial building behind. It's probably the most complex project I've ever worked on. Telstra Exchange is both a combination of new and old technology. There are fibre optic cables as big as your arm, and then it also has the existing 1930s exchange in there, which powers most of Collingwood. The white space on the screen is the only space that we were allowed to develop. Everything else was volumetric titles or infrastructure that couldn't be touched. So threading columns down through existing data racks was highly important to be able to support the building above the Telstra exchange. It's a ground plane that works very, very hard. Highlighted areas, just the areas that we had control over because we share that with Telstra. But it's a laneway. It's a ground plane that invites exploration. So there is moments of civic generosity where we included a laneway, a series of seats, and what could have been a very tough commercial building due to limitation of space. We've opened up views into slivers of space. It's a very thin foyer that sits near onto Wellington Street, and a laneway that draws people in and invites them to explore the precinct. The building's supported on 5-metre high trusses that are supported by single columns that are threaded down the exchange. One of the biggest challenges was finding the way to get the building down to ground. Telstra are very generous. You can move anything you like, but everything comes at a cost. So the benefit of that in some ways was that there was no excavation inside. So in 2015, it was a novel idea to bring electric facilities up above the ground. And so the electric in this building has natural daylight and views out of the building into the rooftops of the precinct. It's got an automated car stacker. The primary tenant at the time was not particularly interested in cars as a mode of transport. The developer insisted they be in the site for further reliability of the project. The building exhibits two different grains, one of the street and one of the sky. The natural materiality of the streets, that being concrete and weather and steel, and then the glass of the tower which sits above. Here you see the companion building, the view back down the laneway. All the materials within the podium are non-coated, so they're weather and steel and they're thick concrete. The scale of the building in the sky. We shifted the spandrel panel to be a series of vertical elements so that when you're in the building, you have frame views out of this tower to the rooftop and spires of what remains of the precinct. We think is very, very important to the character of the neighbourhood. The sawtooth roofs are another feature that are rapidly disappearing from Collingwood, so we took that low scale motif and turned it into a vertical sawtooth on the back of the companion building. You see the companion building here in dialogue with Vine Hotel. They're kind of friends, they talk to each other across the street. The building worked with Brocon as we had to, exhibits absolute lean design. There were no superfluous finishes, no carpet, the floor slabs polished, and no ceiling tiles put into it. And it was leased as is. The companion building is a hybrid timber structure. It was the first for us. The innovation in here included CLT mullions and a series of other early adaptation of CLT construction. Finishes are all integrated. There are very few applied finishes. It's one of the first projects for us to use high degree of weather and steel both as the screening but also as the structure, which means no applied, no gow, no inside coatings. The building lay kind of fallow through COVID, and what occurred was Impact Investment Group, a technical investment organisation, brought tenants into it, like the Yarra Justice Commission and Bank Australia and Commons. So around this building, there's been a great community that's started to take it to the streets and well in the laneways and big spaces that we've created in and around it. And here is, many years later, what we feel is an extremely successful and very generous civic precinct. It has its own kind of Melbourne light industrial character.